What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Surfing the Stream, where every week we are on a quest to find out what is the greatest movie of all time. I am Matt Primo, joined by this motherfucker, Josh Primo.
What's up, bitches?
Well, it's been a couple of weeks. We also promised that we would watch and review Oppenheimer. I mean, I've been waiting on Josh for the past fucking, what feels like a month for this motherfucker to watch this movie. I watched it about a month ago. So we're going to be slowly going through all this, okay, guys? So just bear with us, okay? We don't have the best memories in the game, all right? But like I said, we are here to review Oppenheimer this week, and I am interested in this review because I kind of know where Josh is going to fall on this, and as I was watching it, I knew exactly where he would fall on this. Okay, so gonna be an interesting review. But before we do all that, there are links down below to all of our social media accounts, also to our YouTube and all that good stuff, our Patreon. So go there, like, subscribe, do all that bullshit. Really helps us out, and we would greatly appreciate your support there. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump into this review of Oppenheimer. This is the story of an American scientist, J. Robert Oppenheimer, and his role in the development of the atomic bomb. It was directed by Christopher Nolan, who directed the Dark Knight trilogy, Memento, Interstellar, Inception, The Prestige, Insomnia, Dunkirk, and a couple other movies. It had a budget of $100 million, and it grossed $952 million. It stars Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., and Matt Damon. It has a beefy runtime of 3 hours, and it was released July 21st, 2023. If you are watching this review in the next, I want to say it's the next couple weeks, maybe it's next month, I'm not entirely sure. It's coming on the streaming platforms. I want to say it is Peacock. I want to say it's either Peacock or Paramount. One of the
interesting
two, okay?
choice.
It's interesting that you landed on the word cock, among other things.
Your mouth always lands on cock, so there's that.
Sticks and stones, bitch. Jumping into some of the fun facts. The Trinity detonation scene uses a combination of practical effects and digital composition. Multiple explosions were performed practically with a hybrid of gasoline, propane, aluminum, and magnesium substances involving big miniatures, aka Josh's dick. These were filmed at high speeds from multiple angles and then layered using digital effects to create the iconic mushroom cloud. The entire reel of IMAX film stock used for the production is 11 miles long, and it weighs 600 pounds. That is quite impressive. Quite impressive.
Why, thank you, sir. I grew it myself.
The scenes from J. Robert Oppenheimer's perspective are in color, and the scenes from Louis Strauss's perspective are in black and white. I'm curious to know. Wait, I told you about that beforehand, so I was going to ask you how long did it take you to figure that out?
Yeah, I thought that was just flashbacks. I didn't realize that was from a different
perspective.
Yeah,
even though
you told me
you told
no. Well, I don't remember you texting. You said there was black and white coming from a different perspective. I thought you meant that was Strauss giving. I mean, Oppenheimer flashing back. You know, like a flash forward or whatever.
I mean, a flash forward is definitely different than a flash backwards, but I digress.
I mean, I think he went both ways.
I don't know what you mean by that.
I don't either.
Christopher Nolan cut 30 days of filming to reallocate funds to the production design. They went from an 85-day shoot to just 55 days in order to save money and to apply it to other things within the production design. As the highest grossing World War II film domestically and surpassed Christopher Nolan's own Dunkirk, 2017 as the highest grossing R-rated movie. As the highest grossing World War II film worldwide. Excuse me. So one thing that I will say back to this whole production design thing, if you watch the behind the scenes and the making of Oppenheimer, it goes into that they had a planned film day at the White House, but like at the last second, they were told that they couldn't use it. So they built an entire White House room just for this in the span of, I think it was like 3 or 4 days, something like that. And they were working around the clock, and that's where some of this money got reallocated to. So yeah, if you watch the behind the scenes, it actually shows you them building it and shit like that. It's actually pretty good special features for this particular movie.
I'll put it on the list of things not to watch.
I was gonna say, let's get what we think about the movie, but I'm just going. Look, I already knew what this was while watching it. Okay, I already knew that Josh was gonna fucking hate this movie, 100%.
I won't say I hated it. No, not 100%. I'm not a huge fan, and I don't really understand where so much love has came to this movie for. But I can appreciate the film. It has done a lot of things correct. It just wasn't my taste in movies. And I got to give my hats off to the actors, the storytelling, stuff like that. And some other stuff was good. It's just not my type of movie that I get into. And I honestly think it is 30 minutes too long.
I will agree with it being too long.
I really think we could have trimmed the beginning of the movie. I felt like there was a lot of characters introduced that never actually came to fruition.
See, I disagree with that. I think the ending should have been cut down a little bit. Did we really need an hour of them going through like court procedures and shit like that? I don't think we did. We could have trimmed it just a little bit. We could just,
I wanted the movie circumcised.
And you know what? I have nothing for that.
This guy says, "Order me a moil."
So, I really, really like this movie a lot.
I knew you were, but this is like one of your directors that you flock to.
Yes and no. I was not a big fan of Dunkirk, and Tenet, which was the movie before that one. That was one of the first reviews that I did on the 2 Game podcast or on Surfing the Stream. And I remember liking it, not loving it. And y'all can go back and check out that review. Shit, that was fucking 3 years ago, dog. That was a long time ago. But the thing with Christopher Nolan here is sometimes it seems like he's so fucking cocky with his filmmaking that it comes across as that, and he thinks he's smarter than everybody, and then we're all just left with, what the fuck is this dude even talking about? Like that's where the cockiness kind of comes in. And Tenet was.
You can finish that. I got one question though.
That's where Tenet is like overly complicated. Interstellar is, in terms of his newish movies, I think that's the one that's more easily digested. And then we have Inception, which is fucking way the fuck out there. You gotta watch that thing like 5 times to understand that motherfucker. So I do enjoy most of his movies. Going into this movie, I honestly, I wasn't super excited to watch it. It didn't seem like my type of movie. But go with what you were going to say, and then I'll finish my statement.
Did Christopher Nolan direct that magic movie we watched not long ago?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was.
Yep, The Prestige.
Yeah. I thought that was him.
So yes, there are 2 issues with this movie. Okay, that I have. One, I think 3 hours is a little too much. I think it could have been 2.5 hours at least. Maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes. I think we could have trimmed it by 15 to 30 minutes, somewhere along there, and I think it would have been an even better movie just doing that. Now, with that being said, I do love it, and I'm not disappointed in watching it for 3 hours. I mean, I enjoyed every minute of it. But we could definitely trim it down just a little bit to make it more rewatchable in a sense. And then there's one other thing, and honestly, I think it's the biggest issue with the movie, and it holds it back from being 5 stars for me. What is the reason for us bombing Japan, Josh?
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor. Do you remember hardly anything from Pearl Harbor in this movie?
No, that's what I was kind of confused on because we seen the scenes with the president, and then it's like, yeah, we're making an atomic bomb and stuff, and it's like, felt like we kind of skipped a little bit.
I think it is. I'm not saying you guys sit there and bomb Pearl Harbor again and let us all watch that. I'm not saying that. But to get some emotional reactions, some emotional scenes from these actors and actresses, and just get the reaction from the world around from the bombing of Pearl Harbor, I think is super important to the overall story and why they decided to bomb Japan. Otherwise, you leave that out and it's just like, okay, well, they're just bombing Japan just to bomb Japan at this point. I mean, we all know why, but I don't know. I feel like they needed an emotional scene in there to kind of set up the why for the third act, for why we are going to bomb Japan in retaliation. So to me, that is the biggest issue with the entire movie for me. I think they needed to have something. Not just, oh, well, the bombing of Pearl Harbor. That's literally all they said about Pearl Harbor, that it happened. No emotional scenes, no scenes from the actors like, oh my God, that's fucked up, or I'm so pissed off. No, nothing like that. There was no, I guess, descriptions of their emotions throughout any of those scenes about Pearl Harbor. And I think that would have been very, very important to kind of highlight that once they got to the actual bombing. Now, what did you think about them not actually showing the bombing of Japan?
I mean, I sat through 3 hours and didn't get a payoff. Is all I'm saying.
I will say this. I wish they would have gone about it a little bit differently. I don't think I need the planes flying and the bombs dropping. I don't think I absolutely need that because I don't think that's what this movie is. Okay, it's not the actual bombing of Japan. I know that's what the movie's about, but that's not the main purpose of the movie. The main purpose is following Oppenheimer through his life and the building of the atomic bomb and whatnot. So I'm not upset that they didn't show the atomic bombing in this movie. I enjoyed the fucking Trinity test. How'd you like that? Shit was fucking dope.
No, that was cool. I thought the tension was built very well in there, and I mean it was a good fucking scene.
The practical effects was fucking dope. That.
Yeah, I mean it was so realistic. You could feel the weather coming in on them, and how fucking nervous everybody was because they were still thinking, we could start an explosion that just like never stops.
Mm-hmm.
So I did enjoy that scene.
I love the sound design with that, where you see the explosion but you don't hear it, and then it's like 5 minutes later in the fucking scene that you finally hear the explosion. I thought that was really fucking cool. But going back to what you were saying about how they were like, oh, we don't know if it's going to set off a chain reaction and cause the whole world to explode and whatnot. I do appreciate the fact that they kind of dove into some of the consequences of the actions of an atomic bomb. It wasn't just we need to bomb the shit out of Japan. Let's fucking do it. We don't give a shit. Fucking build it. Like, there was actually like pros and cons. Like, hey, if we do this, everyone might die. Or, hey, how many people is this going to kill? And then just it's stuff like that. They actually took time to kind of explain, hey, this is why we should, this is why we shouldn't. And do the risk outweigh the benefits quote unquote, according to
I'll give
them.
I'll give this movie one thing. I never knew or really read about who invented the atomic bomb or whatnot, but it's funny to see that even during this time frame that somebody would do something and everybody's grateful for it, but then all of a sudden they're persecuted for doing the same damn thing that everybody wanted in the beginning.
Yeah, right.
I never knew that happened.
Me neither. I thought he was always just held as a hero. To be honest with you.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Well, you're such a fucking dickbag. Look what you did." But then at the same, what president was that? Truman.
Oh yeah, I'm shaking my head.
And well, they made him seem like a fucking complete dick. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, dude, I would punch the fucking president. That dude's a fucking dick. Not the current president, if the CIA is listening. Movie related only.
Just so we're aware, those are not the opinions of the Two Game Podcast or Surfing the Stream.
I ended up Googling about that, and it was known that he was kind of a dick.
Really? Huh. Did you notice that it was Gary Oldman?
No.
Yeah, Gary Oldman. So I forgot why they had to build it in 3 or 4 days, the White House. It was because Gary Oldman, they only had him for one day, and they couldn't get him. He was booked up.
Really?
And they could only get him for one day. So they had to build that set like 3 or 4 days in advance of him coming, and that's why they did that. So they built that fucking set and spent all that money just for Gary Oldman to be the president.
Damn. And let me ask you something. I can't think of the damn. Oh, let me look up the guy's name real quick so I don't confuse him with somebody else.
What did he call Oppenheimer in that meeting? Oh, I can't fucking remember what he said. He said something fucking funny. Do you remember what he said?
Strauss. That was the guy that was trying to get nominated into the confirmed into Congress. Yeah.
Yep.
Did that afterwards? He didn't get his confirmation, and they mentioned we had one holdout, and it was JFK. Do you think he was kind of like nudging the viewer to think, well, maybe that's why he got assassinated?
Oh, no, I didn't pick up on that at all.
Okay, well, I was like that. Okay. I did. I was like, I wonder if that's if they're giving their opinion on that's why that guy got assassinated, because they were like, oh, he's some hot shut up and comer, and I was like, oh hell.
I think it was literally just to name drop him. I think that's all.
Oh, okay.
Look at you over here with your conspiracy theories and shit.
Hey man, I was down with it.
This guy went down the fucking rabbit hole. So you brought up the acting earlier, and I think the acting across the board was really, really great. Cillian Murphy as Oppenheimer was fucking fantastic. I don't know who's gonna win. God damn, it's like I'm on a podcast with my kids, man. They just fucking interrupt me all the goddamn time.
Well, goddamn, you just on and on and on about this. You fucking dick-riding this guy.
Well, fuck. You gonna fucking say what you gonna say?
I'm a little out of practice, dog. I mean, hell, every time I try to record 3 weeks ago, you're like,
yeah, that's exactly what happened.
I don't even know what I was gonna say now, dick.
Anyways, Cillian Murphy, I think he could win Best Actor award for the Oscars this year with his performance here. I don't think that Brendan Fraser, I think his movie The Whale came out technically in 2022. So did he already win Best Actor? I can't remember. But yeah, I think Cillian Murphy did an amazing job in this movie. But one person that I want to give a shout out to, and never thought I would say these words, okay? Josh Hartnett in this movie was pretty fucking good. Yay, nay?
I'm trying to see who he was.
How do you not fucking remember who Josh Hartnett was? Has to do from 40 Days and 40 Nights or 30 Days of Night? For the nerds out there?
I don't even see him on the fucking list of actors.
He's probably way the fuck down there. They
Shout out.
legitimately they legitimately have every fucking actor in Hollywood in this fucking movie.
It was, yeah, yeah.
This might
They had quite a
be
few.
the most stacked cast list ever. Ever.
What did you say
Anyways,
that dude's name was?
Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, I got it.
Hartnett. He was the other teacher. He did a fucking fantastic job in this movie. I want to just give him a shout out for that. I know he's watching this and he's appreciative of my words.
I mean, I would think he would be. What do you think about the relationship between Oppenheimer and his girlfriend? Not the wife, but the girlfriend. Oh,
Look.
yeah. He did a good job in the movie. The picture finally fucking loaded.
20 minutes later.
Hey, man, bust Verizon, not me. What do you think about the relationship between Oppenheimer and that
Gene
girlfriend?
Tatlock. Yeah, Gene Tatlock, played by Florence Pugh in this movie. Great acting, I think. Weird relationship, okay? They had that sex scene, and I don't know if you remember it, but they're like mid thrust and they just stop and start talking about like physics and shit. And I'm just like, guys, is that really the most important thing that we're talking about right now? I get y'all want to drop bombs, but I don't think we're trying to drop those kind of bombs. You know what I'm saying? Am I right?
No.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as that relationship, very odd. It seems like she was kind of like handcuffed to him because she was like kind of like mentally unstable a little bit, it seemed.
I think it was used to show how I want to say it weird, but I know that's not the word, but the type of person they both were, like I can't think of how to describe it besides him being a fucking weirdo.
Look, man, I think everybody. I don't know if this was this a thing back in the day, like during this time period? Was it just like, hey, let's just sleep with everybody? Everybody just sleeps with everybody in this movie, it seems, and nobody really cares.
Yeah, I mean, that was almost a time of love, sir.
Yeah, love with everybody else. God damn.
I'm sure Jenny was there somewhere.
Say
Sorry to interrupt your panther party.
Lieutenant Diane. Never thought I'd have a fucking Forrest Gump reference on this fucking episode. Yeah, everybody fucking has sex with everybody. I mean, Oppenheimer and his wife. I mean, she was fucking married to somebody else one day. He was like, "Hey, you want me to drop this D on you?" And he was sleeping with Gene Tatlock at the time as well.
This dude
so
was
it's like
slinging
everybody
dick and slinging missiles.
Right? The wrong kind of missiles, all right? Missiles that you had to pay for 18 years. But no, man, I love this movie. I didn't end up doing a top 10 of the year, like I wanted to. I didn't watch the movies enough of the movies that I wanted to watch in order to do a legit top 10. And I want to say this was number 3 on my list for last year. I ended up watching like 40 some odd movies, 50 some movies, like something like that. And ended up being like number 3. I really loved it. It's slow. It's a slow burn. But this movie's not for everybody. And I think Josh is a testament to that. You know, if you like slow burn biopics, not a whole lot of action, dialogue heavy, then this movie is going to be for you. Okay? 100% going to be for you. I think I split it up into 2 different watches. I watched like an hour and a half one day and then an hour and a half the next day. Which was fine. It didn't really hurt the experience whatsoever for me. But yeah, if you're into those types of movies, I would recommend you go check this out. For sure.
I would recommend it anyways. It's a quality movie, and it's done stuff very well, and I can see why it's up for so many awards. I would watch it just on that fact that it's such a quality piece you don't come across very often, and
why, thank you.
And do I enjoy movies like this? No, really, not at 3 hours long. But there's still some great sequences to this movie, even if you can just look past the dialogue heavy part of it.
One thing I forgot to mention I wanted to talk about in this episode, not in this review. The dark humor that's kind of woven through this movie was subtle but great. You remember when they said the shit about the like, give me a list of cities to drop the bomb on, and they're like, no Kyoto because of the cultural significance, and then one of them was like, and not here because I go vacation there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just funny to me. Like, we did get kind of a little bit of the little meeting to decide, okay, what cities are we going to bomb? And then they were like, I mean, do we really need to drop 2? And they're like, no. We're going to drop 1 to show power. And then the second one is to show that we can fucking do it again. I was like, bruh, for better or for worse, man, that's a fucking American way right there, motherfucker. Fucking wave that American flag. So yeah, I just wanted to mention there is some dark humor kind of weaving in and out through this movie, and I enjoyed some of those moments, for sure. I end up giving this 4.5 out of 5. Not quite 5. I think the stuff they needed to add the stuff at Pearl Harbor, and then the time frame could have been the runtime could have been cut down.
I'm gonna give it a
20, 30 minutes.
I'll give it a 3.5.
And then it would have been perfect. You were painful giving it a 3.5. Like the fucking face you made.
My eye all of a sudden, I was like,
like you're trying to fucking take a shit, dog.
I don't need your judgment, sir.
But yes, if you have watched Oppenheimer, drop a comment below. Let us know what you think about this movie. Is it a top 10 movie of 2023? Does it suck? Does it need to be shorter? Let us know your thoughts down below. And again, we also have in the description below, we have links to our social media account, Patreon, and also to our merch. Would greatly appreciate it if y'all supported us in some form or fashion. But just clicking on this episode, liking it, subscribing is very much appreciated. So thank you so much. Next week, we have not decided what movie we're watching. I don't even know. I told you a long time ago that this was not technically my pick.
Yeah.
That we just needed to review it. I have a movie.
All right.
I have a movie that I want to watch and I want to review. I don't know if it's next week, but we're going to do it in the next 2 weeks at least. And that is RoboCop.
Right.
I want to fucking review that. I've been saving myself to review this.
How generous.
So, yeah, we don't know 100% what we're reviewing next week. So I guess be on standby for that. And again, thank you for joining us. And that's going to be it from us, guys. And we will catch y'all next week on another episode. Laters.